The water you drink and the food you eat is poisoned. They are poisoning the well, and I am here to show you where to go to find this. On the DNaz channel, I like to do that. I like to point you in the right direction. I like to point you in the direction of knowledge and where you could go to improve your life, right? Because I want you to be healthy, and I want people to stop poisoning us without us knowing. So I have to point you in that direction. That's what DNaz is all about here on the DNaz channel. I'm just about your health, your well-being, because I have love. I have love for the world, and I like to share love with you guys. And the evil people, the people with the money, the greedy people, they don't love us. They don't love us, okay? And I'm going to show you just how little they love us, okay? So there is an herbicide called diquat that goes into the ground, and it goes in our water, our drinking water, okay? And it goes in what the livestock eat. Then there are these, that's just one, but there are these other chemicals, and I wish I knew the name. This is why I like to tell you, I don't hold all the information here. I want to point you in the direction to go learn more about the information, because I am still learning myself. But there are these chemicals that are called forever chemicals, okay? Forever chemicals are things that are staying in our food forever because the ground is so tainted by these chemicals that no matter what we do, we're never going to get it out. So that's why they're called forever chemicals, because they're with us, and they're in 99% of Americans, okay? Our DNA has been tainted. Our beautiful earth has been tainted by these greedy people who were using these chemicals without releasing the health information and without showing this information to the higher authorities, to the health, association. So now they got away with this, right? They got away with poisoning us. And they were putting these forever chemicals. There was this one farmer, I forget where he's from, like Virginia. There's a video about this on YouTube. And this farmer was shut down because he had these chemicals in his farm, but it was because of a giant company that was next to his farm, right? Were dumping chemicals. They were testing something like it was like fire foam, like from a fire extinguisher. They were spraying out the fire. They were open testing this on the land without anybody, overseeing this, right? Any authority overseeing this. They were just spraying it into the soil. And I think it like leaked into his supply, or that was one case, or in his case, it was like some, other chemical they were, farming with. But his cattle started being like crazy, and they started foaming at the mouth and dying, and they investigated it, and it ended up being these chemicals that when he first got a lawyer, the lawyer didn't know what he was getting into, right? That's what he says. And that he ended up uncovering this whole thing about these chemicals, and then he ended up getting it tested. They made a big deal about it. He tested more and more, found it in our water, found it in our food. It's everywhere. They said over 20 million acres in America are infected with this. 20 million acres. That is ridiculous. That much is infected, and it's by these companies that are doing this, right? Another thing, like these herbicides and pesticides, they're horrible. And there's something called surface runoff. So I go to school for environmental science. In one of my final papers for environmental science, I wrote about surface runoff, okay? Surface runoff is when you're using pesticides or herbicides, or you are using some sort of chemical, that when you use it and it rains, and that the rainwater is going to bring those chemicals through the ground, but it's going to leach into other sources. So if you're uphill, let's say, and you're dumping these chemicals, and then downhill there's a person that lives there, like a farmer, and that stuff is running downhill, and it's getting into his food without him knowing now. So now he might eat something and die, right? So this happened to a person, but he was the one that used the chemical, right? He used his own chemical, didn't realize that it was lethal to him, right? His own herbicide he used, didn't realize how lethal it was. He ended up, it went into his water supply. He ended up drinking his water and he died. This is called dicot, okay? And people who live in Connecticut, like me, this is a big concern because they just were making a big deal. They were fighting against them putting dicot in the water because the government is doing it. The government is putting dicot in our water, and we were fighting against it, and they did it anyway. We all said we did not want it, and they did it anyway. This just happened in Connecticut. Look it up. This is called dicot, and they're pouring it in our water because they're trying to kill some they're trying to kill a plant, right? It begins with an H, holly something. I'm mad I forgot the name. I'm sorry about that. But they're trying to kill this plant. But just because of this one plant, that's an invasive species, right? They're doing 10 times more, 1,000 times more harm than if they just let the plant do its thing and nature take its course, right? No. So they're pouring this in the water, right? But this thing has serious effects on our health. All right, it's linked to Parkinson's disease. It affects our whole system. This guy that accidentally drank it because it went into his water supply, this guy, he died in 4 days. It was an excruciating 4 days. It was attacking his whole system. He had seizures. He was hallucinating. He was, you know what I mean? Like he was full poisoning, and he died in 4 days. Excruciating days. It did so many different things to his system. It messes with your muscles. You know what I mean? Your muscular nervous system, like everything, right? And this shit they are putting in our water, right? It's funny because I also did the Water of Connecticut's water management program, right? For me to work in a plant, you can filter wastewater, whatever, right? I didn't want to do that, but I wanted to learn more about water and how we treat it, what we do. So they would tell us that Connecticut's got some of the cleanest drinking water in the country. And that is in our water. So think about the rest of you guys. Think about the rest of you guys, right? If we are the cleanest and we have chemicals all through our fucking water, excuse my French, what do you think is happening, right? Around the country, 20 million acres are infected with these forever chemicals. That's not even the dicot, right? So now you got dicot being put in our water. You got these forever chemicals that have just been uncovered by DuPont. That was I think it's an oil company or something, DuPont, right? DuPont is the one that was using these chemicals because they needed it. They made Teflon. So they were making Teflon, right? Which was used in nonstick pans. So these nonstick pans are even cancerous. This chemical that they use in that Teflon, that same product is also used in so many other products that we have that are in our stores. And it's all containing these chemicals, right? And they put that out there. Now, this is a huge company. DuPont is a huge company, and they have literally contributed to poisoning us. Okay? And we can't just let these people keep getting away with this shit. This is absurd. We had COVID, and now we have the SV40. We have, now we got dicot. We have these forever chemicals. We are being attacked from every direction. We are being attacked from every direction by the people that hold the money and the power, okay? And you want to talk about our country gaining $17 trillion? That is enough money to end world hunger. So where the hell is where is everybody saving grace over here, right? So there's a lot of things going on. Greed runs this world, right? And we need to step up and take back our world because we should be united as humans already. We should be united. Like humans are smart now. We are advanced. We should be way more farther ahead. We should have no problem with healthcare, drinking water, hurting the earth, hurting life. This is something that we should easily be overcoming right now. We should have world peace, and we are in those times of change. So just be patient. The reason why I am saying all this is because you hearing this and this awakening is what is going to help bring this change, okay? Every single person that contributes to the good and the change in 50 years from now, you are going to see a way better, different world. And you can thank every one of us that all contributed, right, to making this world a better place. Those of us that want to make that change, and it's going to happen. We are shifting. Right? Because they can't hide everything anymore. We are starting to find out everything, and they can't hide anymore. And that is thanks to AI, thanks to the technology that they gave us. We are now able to see all the lies and deception. And now the power is back in our hands, and we are going to change the world for good. We are going to love each other. We are going to have a beautiful world. But in order to do that, we must take the evil people down. People must be punished for hurting other life, right? So if they are poisoning all of us, these people must be taken out of power. We need to take the power back. We need to know what's in our water, in our food. We need to make sure that we aren't putting chemicals and things that hurt us or other life into the ground anymore, because we have the technology to do otherwise. We are smart enough to do otherwise. That's why we have the science, okay? So please fight against dicot going in your water. If you live in Connecticut, please, I am here with you. And they are putting it in our water right now, even as we voted against it. So please realize that this is a real thing. We cannot let the poisoning keep happening, because too many of our loved ones are dying from different diseases that we shouldn't have. So many people are suffering from sicknesses that they shouldn't be suffering from, things that they didn't do to themselves, they were done to them without them knowing. So come back for more knowledge on the DNaz channel. We'll see you next time.